What's up, everybody? I did not mean to hit that button so quickly, but here we are. So I apologize for that. Um, but yeah, hope everybody's been doing well. If the music is still playing in the background, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I don't think it is though. So yeah, it's all good. I am just very happy to be hanging out with you guys back on my normal time here on the stream. It's very exciting to be back with all of you. Cheers to everybody who's in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for stopping by and for checking it out even after it's over. If you have not, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We are getting dangerously close, might I add, to 500 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which is an interesting milestone here for the show, as we've been going for a little over, almost 3 years now at this point, and like to reach that milestone, and at that point we'll be doing a giveaway, which I believe is going to be samples. So how about that? I want to say hello to everybody in the chat here. Joseph Brazo, Lilith Morgan, Don Nishida, Bourbon Bites, Mr. Clifton himself, Emily Chambers is here, Donnie the Linux Cat, Sean, also known as Swan, my good friend, who comes and hangs out with me every week as we drink bourbon and record podcasts. Trev Wilson, hello, you beautiful man. Who else? Am I missing anybody? That looks like it's just about it at the moment. I'm sure some other folks will trickle in. But appreciate you guys. It's nice seeing the regular crowd in here tonight. Let me know what you are drinking down in the comments. Andrew Spurl, hello Andrew, and Steve A. Snuffleupagus Squad, indeed, Snuffy Squad unite. It's a weird way to say unite. I'm going to be drinking on just Weeders tonight. And hashtag Snuffy Squad. There we go. You guys are killing it. Love it. Absolutely love it. That's fantastic. It makes me laugh a lot. So I'm drinking just Weeders in preparation for the drinking of and reviewing of the Old Fitz 14-year bottled and bond. It is the newest release in the Old Fitz bottled and bond a stable. I believe that's the word I was looking for. And I wanted to give it a shot. Wanted to see, maybe I'll like it. At least a little bit, but only time will tell. So Steve A is pouring a bit of the Maker's Cask Strength. Donnie said the Bourbon Junkies had no idea what was up with Snuffy. Well, if you know, you know, I guess. But at the same time, I do love telling that, bringing more people into that bizarre thing that we started. Mike Meyer. Hello, Mike Meyer. Good to see you in here. I am also starting with some regular Maker's Mark, as is positioned behind me. And I'm looking forward to getting into to get into a few other things as well. First off, if you have not yet listened to this week's episode with Mr. Dixon Dedman himself, please go and check that out. I would really appreciate that. It is a really fun conversation / interview that I was able to get to record with him. So if you can go ahead and check that out, you can find it right here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast provider. So yeah. I had something else I was going to say. I can't remember what it was. But that's okay. I remembered what it was. The bourbon helped. Because I am not yet at 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, I have an alternative for Super Chats. All of those links are listed not only in the description of the video, but also here on the bottom little bumper of the video feed itself. So PayPal, Venmo, Square, all three of those viable options. Of course, I will give you due credit here on the stream as well. Give you a shout out, all that, as is wont for one to do when super chats roll in. So, Swan said he loves his weeks off the podcast because he gets to listen to it like an avid listener. It's been a while since you've been fully off, so this was a week off for you. And Donnie, thank you for putting those in the chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a while since Swan's been off the show. We're going to be back at it next week, though. I'm not going to spoil too much about what's coming, but it's going to be a big episode. We got a couple of announcements we're going to make, and it's going to be... You're not going to want to miss it. We'll say that much. So, stay tuned for that. I want to get into a different weeder that's maybe got a little bit more to it, other than just this standard 90 proof Maker's Mark. Which, by the way, ever since we did our It Is Special, Swan, that is true. Ever since we did our Maker's 46 cast strength review, I've kind of been coming back to the regular Makers, interestingly enough, and kind of feeling like it's like a return to form, or like I'm kind of coming home, or something like that, which is really interesting for me with Makers, especially since I grew up around it. It was what my dad always had, and he slowly moved away from that into other territories, which is fine. You do you, of course. But got a fruit fly. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to finish this real quick so we can get the ball a-rolling. Emily loves basic and cast strength Makers. I think that I'm in the middle of a... by the way, that was one of the sickest things I've ever done. It was really cool. I had a fly land in my hand, and all I did was just grip and crush it. You can see it right there. That's a fly. That's the fly that I just killed in my hand. It was pretty epic. Don Nishida with the very first super chat of the evening. He said, who would win in a death match? Snuffy versus the Count. I think Snuffleupagus has got more. He's got more determination, and he's got that fear factor, kind of behind him. So I want to say Snuffy. I think that the Count would probably surprise us a little bit with his Maker's A-Late and a splash of some orange is beautiful indeed. Perry the Great Hunter. How wild was that? I go all Thanos. It does bring a smile to my face. Joseph, thank you. Thank you for that. Snuffy Squad indeed, Tammy. Welcome in. I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, the based on size and raw power. I think that's kind of where I'm going. I'm gonna lean into the Snuffleupagus here in this conversation, I think. All right, let's drink something. How about I dropped my Nintendo Switch. How about we start off the night? The Count could outrun Snuffy. He could indeed. I don't disagree with that. But I also think that Snuffy's got something. He's got that little something that you're just not expecting. He's got that, how do you say, je ne sais quoi, I believe, to him. Yeah. Anyway, how about we start out with some Wilderness Trail Bottled in Bond? Because it is a Bottled in Bond review that we're doing later on. I feel like the vacuum cleaner from Teletubbies could take them all. Nice. Yeah. I don't know if you're totally wrong about that, Swan, but that sun that's got the face of the baby in it, that's the real winner here. That's what's not you. ADHD Whiskey. Hello, Matt Porter. Good to see you in here. If you guys are not yet subscribed, you are, of course, subscribed to Matt Porter over at ADHD Whiskey. What am I talking about? Go ahead and do that. But if you're not, by some odd chance, go do it. Robot Scott's here as well. Hello, Scott. It's good to see you. The Count gets distracted far too easily, though. Snuffy, did you realize you have two eyes? I could go on with this voice for a long time, but I decided it's best not to. I don't want to get banned in Russia or Transylvania. Good old Wilderness Trail Bottled and Bond. Still, I come back to this one. It feels like fresh-eyed, fresh-faced, fresh palate, maybe, every now and then. And it's good stuff, man. I think that, it goes back to the conversation I was having with Haley a couple months back. That, even at 4 years old, this wheated bourbon is killer. It really is just a knockout of a product. So we'll say cheers to Wheater Night. Cheers, everybody. And hopefully I give the Old Fitz 14-year a little bit of a better review than I did the Old Fitz 9-year that came out earlier this year. So regardless, cheers, salud, Sanche, all that good stuff. Oh. Now, I want to... Yeah, so I think that... is it just me, or does JTS Brown have a dusty/vintage quality? Yeah. That's a good point. I can see that, Joseph. I can see that. Steven's in here. Steven Sussman. Hello, Steven. It is good to see you in here, buddy. You just finished doing an organic lab. Real nice. I think that a lot of what is coming through and is really making Wilderness Trail wheated bourbons sing and truly helping them stand out with other wheaters is the slightly higher malt content. And I think that's really kind of what's carrying is really kind of carrying the flavor profile with Wilderness Trail. Did you guys hear that? I don't know what that was. Anyway. This house that was built in 2000 is haunted. We're only the second owner. Third owner? Second or third owner. Anyway. I think that this higher malt content is really giving Wilderness Trail wheaters more of a backbone for their flavor profile. I'm not saying that it's carrying all the weight. I think that the yeast strain, all of the scientific work behind it that those guys are doing up at Wilderness Trail, I think that is definitely bringing to the forefront what being meticulous does for a product, especially new ones. So I it's just postulation. It's just me kind of spitballing, but still, and it's only 12% malted barley, so it's not super high. But when you look at products like Elijah Craig, which is 10% rye, 12% malted barley, clearly the malted barley is giving it a little bit more of a rounded flavor. So, Dad burped, and it could have been him. By the way, hello, Grandpapa Ritter, Papa Ritter, whatever we're calling you at this point. See, there it is again. I think one of the cats might be messing with me. Maybe the entire garage is about to cave in on me. Nah, Wilderness Trail Bottle and Bond. The wheater. And I do love the rye. I do absolutely not just love the rye whiskey, but the rye bourbon as well. It's the family of the fly that I murdered. Joseph, I like that. I like that title for Papa Ritter at the moment. Dave Ritter, father of 3, grandfather of 1-ish. That's good. Swan's outside honking and flapping his wings. I don't know what you're doing out there. You should have been in here drinking bourbon with me. But that's your loss, man. Unless you brought your own supply, in which case, stick to it, I guess. I don't know. Man. Wilderness Trail seems to know what they're doing, huh? We still need to review the 6-year wheater, Swan. We need to do that too. It would be really nice to get into that before Baby Ritter arrives. I keep calling her Baby Bear too, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because of Pear Bear. I don't know, but like it just keeps coming out. I called her that like 3 times on this week's episode. But then I've been calling her since we first found out about her. I've been calling her my little blueberry. Because that was as big as she was when we first found out, I think, or when we first got our ultrasound. I can't remember for sure. So she's my little blueberry. Am I weeding? Yes, I am indeed weeding. And we need to do the double-barreled episode. Yes, we do. All right. We've got our work cut out for us over the next couple of weeks. Swan, we might be doubling up again. Prepare yourself. Prepare your liver. Don't do that. No, we don't have to. We don't have to do double episodes. Okay. Oh, we are missing you guys, Lil and Chris. Really wish that you could have made the trip over here to the States this time around, but the dang Rona just making it impossible. Impossible is what I just said. That's good. I had some Wilderness Trail earlier. Good stuff. My bourbon Germany steered you towards it. Oh, nice. Scott's a good dude. Scott's great. Scott's been a Swan said, "Hit me. My liver's ready." All right. You asked for it. Let's double up next week. Scott's been a big proponent of the show ever since even before we started. He was getting his YouTube channel started as we started the shop, which was what's eventually spawned the podcast. And he was like, "If you want me to wear a shirt on air, let me know." And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I sent him a shirt, and then he sent me a message again and was like, "Oh my gosh, my dad loves this shirt." And I was like, "Your dad can have a shirt." So I sent him another shirt. It was great. It's awesome, man. It's such a cool little community that we've built in and outside of Whiskey Tube or Whiskey Podcasts or whatever. And it seems like the family's growing more and more all the time. Scott is a good guy, Mike. I agree with you. We are indeed growing constantly, and it's funny because I felt like I was getting into the podcast spectrum, the bourbon podcast spectrum, just as things were hitting the saturation point. But it seems like there's been a little resurgence with some newer shows that are still killing it. So it's nice to have more people at the table. I'm looking forward to seeing where things continue to expand, and more on that in the near-ish future, kind of. Maybe even like after the first of the year, 6 months from now. There's something working. I'm working on something. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Let's have another bourbon, shall we? Not that one because that's empty. I did share in the thumbnail for this week's live stream an unopened bottle of Antique 107, which is exactly what I'm going to open next because I love this bourbon and I love opening bottles because why the heck not? Am I teasing? Yes, just a little bit. Just a little bit there, Clifton. But it's exciting. It's exciting. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, I recorded last night with a local show, local to Lexington, by the way, and I've mentioned them on the show before, on the podcast before. Tell me I'm wrong. Which is a debate show where the hosts debate a ridiculous topic, and it's really funny. It's really, really fun and funny. And this one that we just recorded, which is going to be coming out next week, was most bizarre bourbon cocktails that you would potentially see at a bar, and I moderated for it. I had a really, really good time doing it. So that episode's going to come out next week. And I'm also, after we're done here, so Clifton, I apologize, I'm not going to be able to make the live stream tonight. I'm going to be recording with my buddy Jesse, who has his Marvel Comics podcast, Alphabet Flight, where he goes through and talks about all the different characters in the Marvel universe. And I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited to be back on his show. I think this makes like my 7th appearance on that show. Oh, Clifton just called me pretty. Mike said the only Weller I have ever seen on the shelf was Weller Special Reserve, and that was over a year ago. I should move to Ohio, I guess, or Kentucky. So I had a couple bottles that I got from Ian, who lives in Ohio, and yeah, I think I finished those, but this one I think I bought off of a buddy who lives in town. I'm pretty sure that's how I got those. But I never see Weller products on the shelf. What are you talking about? Who was talking to Trev Olson? I don't know what's happening there. I don't know. I don't know what I missed, Donnie. I apologize. Whiskey makes everyone pretty to you? I'll accept it. Oh, the tease thing. Oh wait, no. No, I was teasing something. I see what you were talking about now, Donnie. No. I was the one who was teasing. Whatever. I don't know. Oh, okay. I got you now, Donnie. See how easy it is to convey jokes over text? Super easy to do. That's why I prefer face-to-face conversation, and calling people on the phone really is whatever. Man, I love Antique 107 though. This is one of those bottles, and it goes without saying, but if it were just regularly available on the shelf, I'd flip. I'd flip my lid, man. I just I want this to be there. I want to walk into a liquor barn again, and I want to look up on the shelf and go, do I want Turkey 101 right now, or do I want Antique 107? Those were the days. Honestly, I never really experienced those days because, and I think that was pretty much past by the time I was truly getting into bourbon. So I need a sip of water. I got to get through a couple other weeders too before I review. Maybe one more after this Antique 107, because I don't want to get too far away from the proof, and I also don't want to get to the point where I've had too much, I guess. A mastodon from OBC. That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, so I'll have one more, and then I'll jump into the review. You know what? I've actually got a better idea. It's lucky this was within reach. So here's what I'm going to do, actually. I'm going to take the 9-year that came out earlier this year and the 14-year, which is the sample that I just got. Actually, I'm going to try them not only side by side, but truly review the Old Fitz 14-year. Just because. I mean, because why the heck not? You know? That or a WLW. I don't have much of my WLW left. And when I say my, I mean I have one bottle left. And when I say not much, I mean probably 2 ounces. And it's hanging back in the cabinet. Nick Foles, what's up? Nick, good to see you in here, man. Has anybody seen Brandon? I haven't seen Wheels in here yet tonight. Kind of hoping he would stop by. I overestimated how much of that Antique 107 I could drink at one time. Oh, goodness. So what is this talk of somebody making somebody else cry? I think I missed something. Joseph said that Matt made Shayla cry? I'm confused. Admitted I was really hoping for the new heavy char bourbon from Heaven Hill. It's funny you say that, Joseph, because that is coming as well. I am going to be able to get a sample of that to review it. That's probably going to be a podcast episode. I think we're actually going to review that for the show instead of a live stream. But I'm excited. I'm excited to check that out. Yeah, and we'll be getting C920 releases soon too. And I think there's a couple other samples that I have on the way, or at least in the works. Unfortunately, Matt sent Shayla a box of whiskey for her birthday. Okay, I got you now. Before Dad starts crying, he's going to tap out. Love you too, Dad. That's good. That's good stuff. Anyway, apologies. False alarm you missed as well. Yeah, I had no idea. But we've got a couple other samples that are coming our way as well, and I'm looking forward to getting to try them. I think we've got a Remus coming our way. I honestly can't remember for sure. I've been sending out requests for samples. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Unfortunately, we got denied for a Four Roses Small Batch LE sample this year, which I thought was really strange because we got one last year and did a. I mean, I think I did a review of it here on the live stream. No, maybe I did it. Maybe I did it on the podcast. I can't remember for sure. Terrence Scott's here, by the way. Hello, Terrence. My question still stands. I haven't seen Wheels in here tonight. I hope he's doing okay. I hope he's doing all right. Anyway, yeah. So it was. I thought it was strange that we didn't get a sample for this year's small batch LE from Four Roses, and it wasn't just because I got one last year and that we were able to review it last year, but also like I'm giving a lot of props and love to Four Roses over the past year. I mean, Small Batch Small Batch Select was my number one bourbon of 2019. So I'm not saying that I deserve to have it over anybody else, because it's certainly not that. I just found it strange that we weren't able to get a sample this year. So that's it. I mean, I asked Buffalo Trace last year for a sample of the Pappy line, the Van Winkle line, and she just straight up told me no, and I was like, fair enough. Joseph said it's too limited. I know it's super limited, but at the same time, like, I mean, we've gotten Antique Collection before. We've gotten the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection before. I mean, like, even the shoot. I mean, like the different releases from Heaven Hill. I mean, all of those are super limited, and we've gotten samples as well, but that's all right. Emily, I have never noticed that before. Thank you for pointing that out to me. There is a typo in the... How on earth did I never notice that? That is too funny. All right, it's fixed now. I apologize for that. That's really can't believe that happened. But anyway, yeah, it's fixed now. I can't believe I put Gmail with 2 L's. That's bizarre. I hope that I haven't missed out on super chats before because of a misspelling. That'd be dumb. Antique 107, man. It's killer. On the fly editing. I'm a professional in that way. Much like I was a professional in the way that I opened this the box I got. The I got this old Fitz 14 in. Zopher 1920. Hello, Zopher. Emily says, I love you, Perry, but that's been driving me nuts. I just can't believe that I overlooked that. That's wild. But I don't think that it's that way in the description. No, it's not. It's not. So that's still fine at the very least. But yeah, my little my stream bumper was misspelled. So I apologize. I apologize for that. Joseph was gonna send me $500, but it didn't go through. Ah, darn it! Spoiled by a typo again. That's why I failed being an English major. One typo. Nah, I've stopped being an English major of my own accord. So I'm side by siding right now the 9-year-old Old Fitz bottled in a bond that came out earlier this year. Excuse me. And the 14 year that has either just come out or is coming out soon. I don't know. I think it's soon. I think it should be, right around the corner. I almost picked up a bottle of Blanton's to... Is the stream glitching? Really? What's happening with the stream? What's glitching about it? Clifton says good. Zopher says good. Brian says he thought it was his phone. Your YouTube app on Android is glitching, though. Sam B. Hello, Sam B. Lurking in the chat. No glitch for the most part. Okay, so I apologize if anybody has had some glitches or issues. But yeah, that's super odd. Refresh your app, maybe? I don't know. Your phone is glitching, but not the TV. It could be YouTube mobile issues. I have to agree with you. There's a good chance. Anyway, let's get into this. Yeah, 9 years just got a better nose. Lurker alert. Indeed, Sam B. Nice to see you in here. I don't know if you've ever actually piped up in a stream before, but welcome in. It's nice to see a new face. Appreciate you being here. Kept going black screen every other second. That's so strange. Really don't know. It must be the two L's in Gmail. You figured it was the ghost house? Could have been. Very could have been. Indeed. Mash and Drum, what is up to you indeed, my friend Jason? It is so good to see you in here. What's up, Captain Fitzy? It's a great title. I'll take it. Captain Fitzy. I like it. Yeah, the 14 years just got more on the nose. It's just fuller. It's just got more to it. I mean, I honestly don't have much else to say. It's become more round. It's got more depth to it than the 9 year did. It's just, clearly the 5 extra years of aging has helped it out. Yeah, 9 years not bad by any means. It's just not got a whole lot to it. I think it needs that little push over the edge that the 14 year I have tried the 14 year. I want to say that up front because I kind of been working towards trying things multiple times before I actually review them when possible. When I get something like a 200 ml sample bottle from a place like Heaven Hill, that allows me the opportunity to try it multiple times before I review it. If I get a full 750 at market, then at market, like I'm bringing my wagon up and my goats. If I'm going to the store and buying a bottle, I try to drink it before I actually review it, just so I have some time to kind of acclimate to what the product is itself. And so I did try the Old Fitz 14 year the other day when I got it because I just felt the need to open it up, see what my initial thoughts were, and just kind of go from there. So it's I'm looking forward to actually giving it the review treatment here in a minute. Let me grab a sip of water and we'll get into the review, hey? I mean, we may as well. We're getting to the last third of the of the stream. So it only makes sense to. I don't want my water bottle in the shot. What am I doing? So it only makes sense to get into it from here. Swan's back. Happy Swan's back. Swan, you should provide some color commentary or something. Oh, I can't believe he said that. I'm planning to pull my carriage up to market tomorrow to procure some spirits. Thank you for understanding how dumb that sounded to me, Brian. Swan's also giving a shout out to the Brenna Keys. You know, I just miss everybody. You know, it just. Swan. Thank you for your color commentary, Swan. That really made me happy. That really made me happy. So, anyway, let's actually dive in and give ourselves some time with the Old Fitz 1919. Let's actually dive in and give our one more time. Let's go ahead and dive into the Old Fitz 14-year bottled and bond, the fall 2020 release from Heaven Hill. Let's check it out. It's just got that classic warm bourbon nose to it. There's a spice to it too that's got a little bit of a punch. It's kind of sending it over the edge. I think it's a baking spice. I think that's what I'm picking up on. Just a hint of a coffee note as well. But it's a very full-bodied bourbon flavor. I think it is just inherently it just screams bourbon. Whether it's the oak, the vanilla, the caramel, the stuff that we always talk about and say is present with bourbon, I think that it's there. I just, I think that there's a little bit of spice then there is definitely, let me go back just in case. There is definitely, yeah, there it is. An orange zest note to it as well, which is really nice. I really like it. Everybody's commenting on how dark it is too. This is a very, very dark bourbon. I mean, even like holding it up to the light, it's crazy dark. And I'm impressed with the appearance of this one. All right, let's give it a shot. Oh. Okay. Oh. Caramel corn is the first note that I'm getting up front. It is like just caramel popcorn through and through. It's funny because I honestly feel like I have a piece of popcorn stuck in my teeth at the moment, which is odd. But it's really rich. It's got a lot of depth to it. And it's in a way already better than the 9-year is exactly right. The 9-year lacked depth. This one has the depth. It has the complexity that I missed in the 9-year. Yes, it is 5 years older. Yes, it is. It has spent much more time in the barrel. And so I do anticipate it actually having more to it. And this one really delivers. I remember, I think it was 2 years ago, they had a 14-year-old release that was distillery exclusive. It had that red label. This one's got the your computer decided to die, but Perry looked like he was going to vomit when he came back. That's funny. But I was able to try the 14-year from a listener. I think it might have been Matt from Whiskey Crusaders. I think that's who sent me the sample. But there's Wheels. Wheels. Brandon, how are you, buddy? It's good to see you in here. I was wondering where the heck you were. It's good to see you in here. Anyway. That 14 year was really. I did mention you. I said something earlier. I was like, where's Brandon? I couldn't believe you weren't in here. You figured it was a whiskey chasm. Yeah, fair enough, Tammy. Fair enough. But that 14 year from a couple years ago was better than either of the two releases. And I think at that point what they put out was another 9 year and an 11 year. Maybe it was a 13 year that first year. I think that actually might be right. Oops, sorry about that. But I can't remember for sure. How many chocolate-covered espresso beans are too many? I think once you're able to hear your heartbeat through your own ears, that's too many. But even then, I mean, it's all subjective. It's all subjective. I was making fun of his boy band hair. I absolutely was not. Absolutely was not. Steven's got 4 bags. Even as I've let it sit here and open up, there's so much more depth that is coming through to it. It's such a rich nose. I mean, really, truly, it's got so much to it that I'm just enthralled by. And I just really like it. It's and I'm probably gonna get some flack for this, but whatever, deal with it, I guess. It's got more to it than the Pappy 15 year does. I enjoy this nose more than I do Van Winkle 15. I'm just throwing it out there, and honestly, it's more attainable. It's easier to get than Pappy 15 year is. This is just a more. It's just got more to it. That's it. I think that it's just way more complex, way more developed, and it deserves to be recognized, and it deserves to be celebrated in some ways as well. And yeah, I think any day of the week, if you gave me the opportunity to buy Pappy 15 Pappy 15 versus a 14-year Old Fitz decanter, I would go with the Old Fitz. I just think that it's just a better product. Donnie says Barry hates the Pappies. Good stuff. I'm going to go in for my second sip, by the way. You just can't beat that. You can't. The mouthfeel is incredible. The length of the finish is absolutely remarkable too. I mean, it's just so good. And I know I'm kind of speaking in generic or even like ethereal terms, but there's so much goodness to be said about this. And oh man, there's like a French vanilla note on the finish into the back of the palate. The coffee note that I was getting up front on the nose is definitely present. A peanut brittle. I mean, it's so layered. It's so complex. This is really, I'm throwing it in there. I think that this has the chance to be a contender for at least my top 10 best of 2020. At the very least, top 10. And I know I'm being brave here by making that statement, but somebody had to. Wheels is going to be doing a giveaway. That's awesome, Brandon. Very cool. Very, very cool. So I guess I'll go ahead and give this a review. Oh man, I am excited. I am excited for this because it's honestly 2020, and we didn't think that it was going to be as successful, I think, with bourbon releases, whiskey releases, as it actually has been, but it's been really solid. I mean, there's only been, I think, truly one or two releases that have come out that I haven't been a big fan of. But for the most part, man, 2020 has delivered. 2020 has been a great year for bourbon and whiskey releases, which is what we all needed during these unprecedented times, right? Right. Steven asked if I wanted a sample of the Old Fitz 9 from the first release. Yes, please. Absolutely. Steven, shoot me a message. We'll get that squared away. Let me grab a sample of water. A sample of water. Jeez Louise. A sip of water. And then we'll get into the review. Still have the whole LE season upon us as well. That is true. That is very true. A 24-year-old single-barrel Kentucky distillery. What the heck? Wheels. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Awesome stuff, though. All right, so if you have not ever listened to the show before, or you're not familiar with our review system, it is nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5, and then we give a final score out of 20. So on this Old Fitz 14-year bottled and bond, I think the nose I'm going to have to give a 3.5. It's got a lot of depth, and a lot of it's really complex. I think that's just what I'm getting at the most here. 3.5. I'm having a hard time thinking that it should be given anything less than that. Palate. Yeah, that's a 4. That's easily a 4. Yeah. I can't deny that this is anything less than a 4. It's solid, it's well-rounded, it's inviting. It makes you want to go back for another sip. Really, it does. And the length of the finish, as I was talking about earlier, too. And before I get into the finish, I want to reiterate the mouthfeel. The mouthfeel is incredible. It's super oily and it just coats the mouth, and it's really, really good. It's a great mouthfeel. Finish, though, long, dense, got a great, a really, really great flavor to it. That again makes me want to go back for more. Finish, I think, is a 4 as well. And then the price. The price is going to be the big one. We talk about this a lot with the Old Fitz releases because they do come in this really nice, beautiful decanter style bottle. It does up the price a little bit, but if you actually look at what you're getting in the bottle, you're pretty much paying $10 for every year that the bourbon has stayed in the barrel. So 9-year is going to be $90, 14-year is going to be $140, and in some way you are kind of paying for the display piece, but at the same time it's a sound investment. The thing that I've been talking about a bunch is how great the corks are that come with these bottles. They are a much better sealer than a glass decanter is going to be, and it's going to preserve your whiskey better. So if you're not just buying the bourbon, buying the whiskey for its initial value, you're also kind of investing a little bit. So with that in mind, yes, $140 is a lot of money to spend on one bottle. But with the quality of the whiskey in the bottle itself, with the investment that you're making with this really solid decanter, this really great display piece, it's hard not to give it a decent score. I think I'm going to go with a 3.5. And honestly, I can't remember what it was that I gave the 9-year when I reviewed it a couple months back. Maybe it was a few weeks. I don't honestly remember at this point. Lockdown, huh? Or maybe it's just COVID. I don't know. Anyway, I think 3.5 is really solid. It's just got so much to offer, and I don't think it's going to disappoint anybody. It's just a straight up really great whiskey. It's a great bourbon, and I think that people should check it out. It's highly superior to the 9-year, and at this point, one of my favorite things that's come out this year as well. So that gives me a final score of 15 out of 20. This is a recommend for me, which is not something that I normally do with products of this gravitas, I suppose. Suppose. Don't at me. But I have a hard time not recommending this. I think if you see it, if you have access to it, grab yourself a bottle if you can. But it's great. Heaven Hill's really outdone themselves with this one, and I think that if they keep it up with some of these higher age stated Old Fitz products, we're gonna see some pretty consistent and great bottles. All in all, solid. Thumbs up. Grab you one. Drink it. All that. I think that does it for me. I've got to hop over so I can start recording with my buddy Jesse for his podcast, and I'm looking forward to doing that here, letting you guys hear some of those episodes. Tell me I'm wrong as well. That episode comes out next week, so you guys need to go and check that out as well. If you have not yet subscribed, not only to the channel itself, but the podcast as well, please do so. You get notifications, of course, every time the new episodes come out, as well as every time that a new live stream happens. So, yeah, I think that's it. Patreon.com/MyBourbonPodcast is where you can also become a supporter of the show. Also, last minute super chat from Brian Bernicke. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Cheers to you. And I think that does it for this evening, for this live stream. I'll see you guys next week, but until then, it's TIMBP Live. I think that's how I'm ending it now. I don't know. Whatever.